It's called the Paramount, and it's been standing part completed and covered in scaffolding in the heart of the city for almost 3 years. Once again, it was built by the developer Pinnacle and construction company PhD1. Like at Angelgate, investors from the UK and Asia have probably lost millions at the Paramount. But there are other issues with the unfinished building, which could be putting people at risk. Now, this part of the building is inhabited, but as you can see, this part clearly isn't. The council became responsible for safety for this section and gave it the all clear. I'm meeting Peter Kilfoyle, former minister and Liverpool MP. He's had concerns since he attended a meeting last year at which Liverpool City Council was warned by a subcontractor about the building.
It was a very tense meeting, and it was very, very clear that the contractors were telling the regulatory authorities there that this was an unsafe building. If there was a fire, it could spread more rapidly than it's supposed to in other circumstances.
In fact, contractors, subcontractors, engineers and the council have been in dispute over the safety of the building for some time. In 2015, an independent inspector deemed the building safe and students were moved into the finished part. Since then, more than 150 students have been renting rooms here. What were you thinking when you were sat in that meeting?
I couldn't believe it. It wasn't just that meeting, that one-off meeting. The council was warned repeatedly. It's a disgrace.
That's the fire stopping that get the vertical fire.
I'm meeting a building expert to ask whether she thinks there are safety concerns.
It's not great to have the cladding left open like this.
Even from the street, building surveyor Minnie Fraser is concerned by what she can see.
Where you can see those pipes going up the wall and through the blockwork, there should be fire stopping around those holes to prevent fire from passing through from one side to the other. If it's all open, then the fire can spread massively. Overall, I can see enough to make me very concerned about this.
Liverpool City Council told us it had inspected the site and was satisfied that it was safe. However, we've decided to look for ourselves. And it looks a mess. We're showing Minnie Fraser the footage.
So there's lots of rubbish. This is in the centre of the ground floor. You can see timber and shows dreadful site practice. There's lots and lots of combustible material. A fire could start there, it could get very hot very quickly, then it would easily spread up the scaffold and take to the cladding and the burnable parts of the cladding. If fire goes up the outside of a building, it can actually get in through windows. Once you've got a fire, then it's very difficult to stop it.
Inside the basement, there are further concerns. It's not secure, and there's evidence homeless people have been staying in there. There are piles of building materials and rubbish, unprotected machinery and electrics, and steel beams without fire-resistant paint.
I would be very concerned that students are living in there. There's so much flammable material there that a fire could easily start and take hold and spread quite quickly.
There have been fire safety concerns at other Pinnacle and PhD1 developments. The fire service ordered work at Falkland House in Liverpool earlier this year to tackle fire safety issues. These have now been addressed. In Leeds, the authorities closed down Asquith House and Austin Hall, moving students out for months while fire safety work was carried out. The council told us that it has worked with the fire service and that the Paramount is not unsafe and can remain occupied. Merseyside Fire and Rescue initially told us it could only investigate the inhabited part of the building, but after we told it of our concerns, said it will make arrangements for a fire safety inspector to revisit the premises. The Paramount is now in administration. The holding company that owns Pinnacle told us the administrator hopes the build-out can be completed for the benefit of all stakeholders. It adds that safety sign-offs were in place before any residents moved in.